Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. I'm Filbert D, and it's 2020, and it's time to see rats. This is Phil on Films.
Tonight is a magical night where I choose the cat that deserves a new life.
Going to the ball could get dangerous.
Cats is an adaptation of the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical of the same name, which is in itself a strange adaptation of a book of poems by T.S. Eliot. The film adds a new character, played by Francesca Hayward, Victoria, who is abandoned in the alley on the night of the Jellicle Ball, the night when the cats, the Jellicles, sing songs about themselves so that they may be made the Jellicle choice, which will send them into the Heaviside layer, where they will be given a new life. So yeah, I just saw Cats, and it's every bit the mad fiasco that people are making out to be. Kind of don't know how to start talking about this movie because at this point everybody has dumped on it so much that there's hardly anything left to say. But I guess I'm gonna try to take it as seriously as I can because there is actually some things that are interesting about this movie for how crazy all of it is. First of all, Cats is a really strange musical to want to adapt into a movie. As a story, it's kind of plotless. It really is just a bunch of cats talking about why they're who they are and what their names are, and they're all trying to get to heaven for some reason. And somehow this Jellicle Ball is supposed to do that for them. The added character Victoria, who is basically the audience surrogate who gets to witness all of this Jellicle strangeness, doesn't really help much. There isn't much to her. She's basically a vehicle to create a new song and to make the plot make a little more sense. It still doesn't, but there's an attempt. Anyway, what makes the musical appealing, even though I personally don't like that musical, is its staging. It's one of those weird musicals where actors are dancing in the aisle and doing all sorts of things with the audience and build elaborate sets that go beyond the definition of what traditional theater is. And that's interesting. You can't do that in a movie, and oh boy, the movie mostly makes it out to be pretty strange. To some extent, this movie just feels like a collection of bad decisions from the director, Tom Hooper. I think prime of which is this idea he had about how these cats are going to look on screen. From reports, it looks like some people were wearing green suits, some people were wearing bodysuits with fur on them. But the whole thing was that they were going to digitally add fur. They're really proud of this fur technology, and it doesn't look great. It's especially noticeable in the parts where the fur is supposed to be interacting with some form of clothing. If a cat is wearing a collar or a vest or something, there's just something unsettling about how the fur sits with the real material that's there. It's very strange. I'm assuming we got a patched version because it would make no sense for the studios to still send out the unpatched version at this point in the game. Having said that, it still looks pretty bad. It certainly doesn't hold to the standards that we expect from a big budget film at this point, especially in the realm of VFX. Talking about it strictly as a musical, well, again, I'm not a fan of the source material. It's a really strange musical that doesn't have great songs.
Jellicle cats develop slowly.
Jellicle cats are not too big.
There's only one song that people remember, Memories, and that's mostly because it's so maudlin and melodramatic. Not because they connect to it on a really personal level. There's a lot of talented people in this cast. That talent is directed towards over-singing things, and that makes the clarity of the story even worse. I guess it's folly to try to expect like a coherent story to emerge from all of this nonsense. Sometimes you just can't understand what these cats are saying. I mean, there's a lot of dancing in here, and there's clearly a lot of dancing talent as well, but the film is shot in such a way that it doesn't really capture the grace of that movement a lot of the times. I noticed in some of the dance sequences that like the film cuts away from the motion to get a reaction shot from one of the characters, and that's just a bad decision as well. Again, this whole thing is a collection of bad decisions. But I will say that I'm never gonna claim that Cats is good. But there's something admirable about its commitment to its own insanity. In an age of largely homogeneous blockbuster cinema, you kind of have to respect a film that's so committed to its unusually horny vision of monstrous humanoid cats singing and dancing. It's at least showing us something that we haven't seen before, I guess. It certainly feels like bad taste, but the movie believes in its taste, and its enthusiasm for it is kind of affecting in its own way, even if what you're clearly seeing is so bad. So where does this leave us? Well, Cats is a bad movie, but it's a bad movie I kind of respect. It showed me things that I truly didn't expect. The film's version of macavity on screen is a valued nightmare. Feels like something that came out of the most twisted mind to ever exist. Which is great and awful at the same time. It feels weird to judge this on your standard numerical scale because it kind of exists out of that. But yeah, if we were judging it purely on the basis of the technical merit and the artistic decisions, I would give this 1 star. But again, this is Cats. It's like 11 jellicles.
A new day has begun.
Thanks for joining us. There really isn't much else to talk about this week, and Cats is something worth grappling with on its own. Did you see Cats? Leave a comment. Ask a question. Like and subscribe, and I'll do all of that internet stuff. And until next time, goodbye, internet. Cats are not dogs.